Good day, everyone, and welcome to Different Stages Radio. I'm your host, JJ, broadcasting in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And my guest today is the visionary of legendary Norwegian Gothic progressive band Green Carnation, who are about to release part 2 of their trilogy, A Dark Poem Part 2, Sanguis, on April the 3rd on Season of Mist Records. Please welcome my guest back to Different Stages Radio, Kjetil Nordhus. How are you?
Hello. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me back.
Well, and I appreciate you taking the time and making the time. Now you're right in the middle of the pot right now. You got everything brewing. We got 2 doses of things to get people excited about in regards to part 2, Sanguis. Sanguis Blood Ties, which is incredible, and I Am Time. How has the response been to those 2 so far for you?
Well, it's been amazing again, I have to say. I would say maybe a bit overwhelmed by the reception the first part got, and it seems, and of course then you start not worrying necessarily because we knew that part 2 is a great album as well, but you never know how people are going to respond to music. So I've been a bit like quietly worrying about, what if everybody says that album 1 was great, album 2 isn't? So, but it seems like people are really connecting to part 2 as well. It's a bit different from part 1, but of course it would be. You wouldn't have three albums exactly the same when releasing a trilogy. So I think people are responding on that, and it's been fairly overwhelming again, actually.
Well, the dark poem, Shores of Melancholia, just got some phenomenal reviews on a lot of people's album of the year lists. Lots of great press behind it, which must have been phenomenal. So those that are maybe been on the outskirts, who have been reading stuff and seeing stuff, like what's this Green Carnation band about, and what is this dark poem trilogy about? Can you give a quick breakdown of what that is for people that are thinking of, I really want to check this out, and what's been holding me back?
Yeah, we're a band from Norway who's been going on for many years. We've been releasing music since 2000. Had a break for about 10 years from approximately 2006 to 16. We're playing emotional progressive music, I would say, because the emotions are the most important thing for us. We're not a progressive metal band who's only focusing on technique and playing fast. We're trying to focus on moods and lyrics and songs that make sense and songs that can be interesting, songs with different layers in it, so you can find new things every time you listen to it. And we have a following all over the world. It's not like a huge following, although there are a few thousand, of course, but it's not like we're not a big band, I would say, but we are playing a concert in our hometown in Kristiansand, Norway, doing all 3 parts of the trilogy in September. And there's going to be people from 20 different countries around the world to come to a little town in Norway to see us play, and which makes me think that we actually mean something for some people, and that's a huge motivation for us.
And that is
Uh,
on September the 12th. That's going to be a huge moment for you.
oh yeah, I'm looking forward to September 13th, to be honest with you, if everything went well. Yeah. And with the dark poem, we have been thinking about for many years doing a triple album or a trilogy. It's been something, an idea that has been with us since the early 2000s when we released an album which was just 1 track for 60 minutes, and we wanted to return to the epic way of storytelling, I could probably call it. And this was the time to compose and record and release the trilogy. And we have been writing it from 2018 until 2023. We used the entire, basically 2024 in the studio. And now we're in the middle of it, and it feels good because we decided to release the albums not on 1 day, although we could have done that because everything kind of was finished on the same time. But we decided to do like 6 months in between them, approximately, to try and create some momentum around the band and try to be quite, out there in the news all the time, and hopefully for people that already like us to be happy for 1.5 years, and hopefully also, of course, reach new people with our music. So, and and that seems to be going like we planned, because it's I can feel it is even more interest around us and around interviews and everything. There's a momentum that you can feel now after finishing one of the albums, not finishing, but after kind of working on promoting the second of the three albums. So that's going to go on for a few months still, I guess.
Well, it's been a very nice, steady climb, and I think it's something that you can maintain without all of a sudden having this big boom. And it's like, whoa, it's a bit overwhelming, and then it kind of maybe simmers down. Like it's been a pretty even level the whole way, and you must be pretty proud of that.
Yeah, well, even before releasing the first part of the trilogy, me and Stein Roger Sodal, who's the main composers in the band, we sat down and we talked about that. Like, we haven't made a single compromise on all these three albums in one single word on any of the lyrics, in one single tone in any of the songs, and that's what we wanted to do. And we haven't let the song go before it's been 100% of our potential. So, and I think that's something to be proud of, because it's not been easy working with these songs for 5 or 6 years. You kind of you want to finish the songs or the demos before going to the studio. So we didn't let any song go before we were 100% sure that we cannot possibly make this any better. So yeah, we would have been proud no matter how the people were going to react to it outside of the band. But of course, it's a great feeling when the reception has been as good as it has for the first one, and it looks like it will be for the second one.
And I think the challenge must have been kind of hard for you too, given these lyrics are ones that Stein Rogers has penned, and you're trying to get that emotion and feel apart. And reading some of the press release, it's like I can really start to feel that the emotion and everything that's really pouring out in part two.
Yeah.
That must
Yeah,
have
we
been
got
really, really challenging for him.
Yeah, it is challenging. It has been challenging for him, and also he lost his father 1 year ago after having actually recorded everything. So he had to go through all the lyrics again to see if a kind of can I still let these lyrics go out, and uh, and again, the lyrics are written because they belong to the song. It's something that he would like when he wrote it to communicate, and that didn't change. So of course he had to go through everything again, but he decided that everything has to be there because that's how it is. That's the song, how it was written. And although he's talking about very, very difficult things, there is also a lot of understanding and forgiveness in his lyrics, which I think maybe he felt even better after he lost his father. Um, so yeah, it's been an emotional ride, I have to say, for everybody involved, and also for me performing those lyrics. It's not an easy task, but me and Stein has been extremely close for almost 30 years. So many of the struggles that he writes about, I've been kind of a part of them as well, together with him somehow, and I can kind of identify, understand, and recognize those feelings, and we've talked about everything many times before, which makes it a bit kind of easier, I guess, for me to relate to them and to be able to perform them with the right kind of atmosphere and emotions, because it only feels natural, because they feel a little bit like my struggles as well, if you know what I mean.
There you go. Now, was it helpful though that he gave you a break on track too?
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
that was one of the songs that we had an idea how it was going to be. I was singing on the demo. We brought it into the studio. I was doing vocals on it. We had a lot of more instruments on it, and we stripped down instrument by instrument until it was hardly any instruments left because we wanted the nerve in the song to be standing out from everything and not to kind of pack it into a lot of sound. And in the end, we talked about maybe we should try and let Stein sing on that song because it was still missing something and we couldn't really put our finger on what it was. And then when he went into the studio and did it, and I think it was his first take maybe, and everything just fell into place. It's a very personal piece of lyrics to a friend of him who's also a friend of the rest of the band, but it felt very natural when we heard the results that this is what the song needed, and I was happy to give him the microphone for that one because and we didn't want to compromise on anything, and if that's what the song needed, it was just the right thing.
And the track we're talking about is Loneliness Untold, Loneliness Unfold, which is
Yeah.
follows the title track or the title track Sanguis beautifully. And if I can mention quickly that I find that part one and part two definitely stand on their own, but one thing I find immediately that is similar is how each album just flows brilliantly. That it just all makes sense, and that flow that is just something that is really lost these days with albums. So once again, I highly recommend that people get the album.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, and that's been important for us as well. I'm sure we talked about that the last time
You
that
did.
we had all the songs finished and we tried to put together an album that would make sense alone, but also make sense together with the two next ones. We've done the same, of course, with album two. So when having a very quiet song as number two on part two, it also, I think, makes a lot of sense if you listen to part one first and then go straight into part two. You're going to need that break because part one is all guns blazing, lots of energy, lots of stuff happening all the time. Kind of a Sanguis, the first song on Blood Ties on the album, kind of the same. And then you kind of fall into that quiet, emotional second song, and it just feels good for your ears to relax a little bit, but also to be able to get the lyrics served in an even clearer way. Yeah, so thank you. Yeah,
Yeah, and you keep the momentum going straight into Sweet to the Point of Bitter. That was great as well. Like again, it's like you're just nailing it each time. It's like this is just exactly what one would hope for, and you delivered. And then right into the second single or offering, I Am Time, which is once again brilliant. But yeah, really dug also Fire and Ice. That was really really cool. Like
thank you.
the odd time stuff and just really cool groove there. Like the subtleties of it, and that's one thing again that I really appreciate about Green Carnation's progressive side, which you touched on earlier when you're discussing the sound that it's not blatantly out there. It's the little cues you put in there, and once again, the more you listen, you find these little subtleties, little nuances that just pull you in.
Yeah, I'm glad that people actually, listen to our music that way. Music can, of course, music can be entertainment and it can be something in the background, but you want as an artist for you want to kind of also give something to people that really wants to listen to it, that really wants to read the lyrics and really wants to kind of maybe also sometimes identify with the lyrics, meaning the lyrics are extremely important because the lyrics, of course, when Green Carnation sometimes is also background music, and of course then maybe the lyrics isn't that important, but you need all the layers, and I think we worked really hard on that actually it's difficult to explain how you don't like now we have a song, let's put on another layer. It's not like that, but it's just the way they're composed. That there's also quite a lot of things happening in Green Carnation's music that maybe leads to that.
And then part two wraps up with Lunar Tale. Love the flute in there. That is great. And it totally has you ready and set up for part three. And you're immediately wondering, where's part three going to go? And that's, I
Yeah,
think, probably exactly what you were hoping for.
well, we didn't do that on album one, on part one, because that kind of, it feels finished when it's finished. But we wanted to try and kind of open up for something else because part three is going to be something else. I can't say too much about it now, but it is going to be something else, and it's going to challenge a lot of people, I think, hopefully in a good way. And it made very much sense for us to have that kind of song finishing part two. Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier how you're essentially in the middle of it, even though all three parts are complete, correct? But you're still in the
Yeah.
middle of the process. Do you kind of wonder some days, like, what the hell am I doing? What did I get myself into? When is this going to stop? Is there a finish line?
Yeah. Yeah. It's been well, I said to you a little bit earlier that it's kind of going like we hoped for and planned. Of course, sometimes it's quite hectic, like in periods like this, in promotional periods and all that, but I do enjoy it. And I do enjoy talking about the music, and sometimes that goes, sometimes you kind of need to think differently about everything. When you make music, you just make what's natural for us. And sometimes when you have to explain about it, it kind of opens up something more also for me. So I think it's a good thing to do the interviews and everything. And but of course, in periods, it's a lot. I think the alternative would be much worse, that there were no interest around it. So we're quite happy, all of us. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now you got some pretty cool shows coming up. We should talk a bit about those. A big one happening in Finland, the
Yeah.
Ankea Festival. Is that how you
Yeah.
pronounce it? Catatonia, Isan, and Leprous, and Bruce Sword. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah. It's the
And
first time.
Sylvan, yeah, you play on June
Yeah. Yeah.
6th.
Absolutely. Yeah. June 6th, we're going to play in Finland. Finland has always been good for us. There's a connection there. I don't know exactly why, but we've been to Finland a few times, and that's probably it's part of the reason. And this is the first edition of the festival. And when I see the lineup, I just kind of would have thought that if Green Carnation wasn't on it, I would try and go there myself, because it's so many bands that are kind of really in my kind of I like a lot of different music, but I think it's a really strong lineup, and yeah, looking forward to that a lot. So that's our next one. So we're starting the rehearsals for this right after Easter. So it's gonna be great.
And you play on day two, June 6th. And then looking at about a week or so later, you're playing with Deep Purple. How cool is
Mm.
that? At home, big hometown show.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. It's that's gonna be memory for life probably, and to do that in your hometown, just like maybe 1 kilometer from where I live. The venue is outdoor venue. It's right next to the sea. It's a beautiful venue, and when Deep Purple comes to town and you're invited to play, you cannot really say no, can you?
I'm wondering if maybe you should invite Don Airy to come up and play the intro to Sanguis. How about that? Or just,
Yeah.
the keys going on in there.
Of course, we have to, like, we're not going to play too many new songs on that festival, because we're going to save them to September. But we chose one, and it's not a big surprise. That's going to be the one. Yeah.
So yeah, Don Airy, come on. If you're listening to Different Stages Radio, how about you join your Green Carnation for a track?
Yeah. He's welcome.
Now, so once again, September 12th, or sorry, September 12th is the big trilogy hometown show. Big deal. Where can people get tickets and information if they want to come abroad?
Go into kilden.com. That's the venue's name. Or you can just Google Green Carnation, Christian Sand, or something like that. It would be quite easy to find if you try. We have sold now maybe 850 of the 1,000 tickets. It's going to be people here from 20 different countries that's going to come here, as I said, and yeah, it's going to be it's going to be one of the biggest evenings in Green Carnation's history for sure. There is going to be a symphony orchestra on stage during the evening, and there is going to be an opera choir joining us for something. Uh, and we're going to do all three albums in full, everything with the guest artists, and yeah. And that's going to be a once in a lifetime experience. It's not like realistic to have 150 guests in too many concerts after that, I'm sure. So So yeah, if anybody wants to come to Kristiansand, we're gonna make a weekend out of it. So we're gonna have like a Green Carnation pub open all weekend. Um, we're gonna have probably arts exhibitions with the dark poem, the dark poem arts. Stein Roger is probably gonna have his own exhibition as well because he's also doing painting and stuff. We're gonna have a few restaurants, being like Green Carnation restaurants with the cheaper prices on beer and food for the weekend. So we're going to try, and that's the least we can do when people are using a lot of their own money on coming to the other side of the world, some of them to just to see us live. We're going to try and make like an experience for them the entire weekend. That's the least we can give them, except for hopefully a good concert, of course.
Well, that says a lot about Green Carnation, how they treat their fans. That's, showing a lot of respect. That goes a long, long way. Now, I'm itching to get the space filled in my box.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll get part two in there soon. But yeah, those who don't have part one, get on it because it is just remarkable. So part two is out on April the 3rd on Season and Mist Records. We'll set up links at the end of the video where people can go. But also reminding people that you've been putting out little small runs of Dark Poem Part 1 and seeing some light of day vinyl, 100 here, odd colors of that. Very cool stuff. Where can people go to find that stuff?
It's on our own web shop. We do have a big cartel, Green Carnation official big cartel shop, and it means the world for us actually that people want to come and buy stuff of us like directly from the band. We run the shop ourselves, which is sometimes a bit of a challenge as well because we've been having a lot of interest and we have to do this on our spare time. We pack everything ourselves and we send it. Of course, it's extremely expensive for people for the like shipping and stuff, but we do not we try to keep the prices as low as possible, and we've probably been a bit lower than we should. So we're kind of trying to keep up with the rest of the world as well, kind of. But it means a lot for us that people are coming to our big cartel. We sign everything, seems to be quite popular. It's of course possible to ask for unsigned stuff as well if that's better. But yeah, we've been using quite a lot of time on that, which also makes sense for us. So we do that together, all of us. Of course, it's short. He's the main guy. He's working with selling stuff in his his daily life as well. So he's a professional. So we just do what he says basically.
He's the master.
Yeah, he's.
Well, Kjetil, I appreciate your time again. Good to get caught up on part two. Already itching for part three. Don't miss them in Finland on June the 6th at the Ankea Festival. Don't miss them. Big hometown show on June the 14th with Deep Purple. And then the big trilogy show, all three parts with guests. Big Green Carnation weekend for the big dark poem parts 1, 2, and 3 being played in their entirety with an orchestra. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. It's just
Yeah,
it's gonna be.
Yeah, it's gonna be a memory for life, hopefully, a good memory for life, hopefully.
Okay, we'll touch base again in a few months regarding part 3 with Kjetil. This is Different Stages Radio.